guys, so our first session, I know I do. What am I doing here? I'm back. So here goes the first session that I'm going to take after joining school. Again, for round 2 is English language. Alright, so I'm going to cover topics within English language for all the 3 standards, that is 8th, 9th and 10th. Alright, now the topics may sound a little redundant and a little repetitive for the 9th and 10th because you've kind of gone through this rut. You know the basic structure of these topics, but there's no harm in doing some revision and just like going through some of the formats because hey, we have a tendency to forget. For the 8th standards though, this is your foundation for where you are heading, that is your 10th standard boards, because the portion in grammar and in language is essentially the same throughout the 3 years that you cover. Okay, so for 8th standards, this is foundational course 101 and for 9th and 10th, revision. Alright, now the first part of your English language paper, which does have a lot of weightage if you see, and it's your chance to score quite a few of those marks that you're looking for, is your essays. Okay, now you have quite a few choices that you can select from, and all of this is from exam point of view is played to your strengths. Okay, pick out topics that you are good at writing and develop some good writing skills within these topics so that you're good at just writing sometimes. Okay, and for the others, I mean, if you love writing, just like go for it. You don't need to think from exam point of view. But then there are some who don't write English, so let's cater to both kinds of people. Okay. The first kind of essay is your narrative essay. Then you have a descriptive essay, you have a short story, you have argumentative essays, and then you have picture compositions. Now, in the examination, you don't have them in the same structure and they don't put the titles for you. You have to figure it out just by reading the questions, and that's quite simple actually. As you keep practicing, you get used to it. So quite a few choices of topics to select from, and that does not mean that I love narrative essays, so I'm going to stick to narrative and not do any other type of essays. No, explore the other kinds, find what you love writing and then proceed, and always be prepared with a few more than what is required. Okay, so the first one that we're going to do is narrative essays. Now, to narrate is to tell a story, and as human beings we have lots of stories because we have so many memories and so many things that we go through. Just picture this, you are stuck in a lockdown, but just within those few days and few weeks, which now seem like centuries, you have gone through so much. Okay, it can be happy feelings, okay, of some things that may have turned out good, like first when the lockdown was announced, you must have been like, yay, no school, and now you're just like kind of crying to come back to school and to your friends. But these can be feelings of boredom, of happiness, and memories of fear, of isolation, of different kinds of things that you're going through. And when you share these experiences with somebody, it is to tell them a story and to tell them a story of your own life. Now, when you tell a story, you can even have stories of characters and like fictional stories with aliens and ghosts and random other characters. So what is the difference between a narrative and a short story? Both the options which are offered to you by your board. And this is a question that is asked really often to me as to what is the difference between a narrative and a short story. Now, a narrative is it's personal. It's your own life story. It's incidents, events, experiences that you as a person have gone through, and therefore they are real events, the things that really happened. Okay, so for example, one year when we had gotten, and I've given this example to students who have been with me, but we had a topic, say you were stuck alone at home. Now you may have what are the different experiences that you would get if you were home alone without your parents there to look after you. A lot of students mistook this and misinterpreted this, and they had ideas like, oh, I was left alone at home for a month with no one to look after me, and my parents left me no food and no money. Now all of us know this is not true. There will be no parent in this universe who will leave you alone without food, water, and means to look after yourself. So automatically that real events criteria seems completely off track. Okay, you chasing thieves and the police congratulating you, no. Okay, you can leave that for the other half of writing. Okay, so your stories, like a short story, must have characters, but given that this is a real event, your characters are your family members, your friends, your teachers, even your pets. That means anyone around you. And given that it's your story, you're always using the first person pronoun, which is I, we, myself, mine. Okay, these are kind of words that you'll be using. A short story, on the contrary, is not about you. Okay, these are stories that are from the depths of your imagination. It is purely your skill of creating a world that is not real. And so you can include, this is the place where you can have characters that have spaceships landing and aliens and ghosts and murderers and thieves and criminals running around driving an apocalypse, Thanos for all you care. Any of these things would do, but don't copy Thanos because it has to be an original story. Okay, so you can use the pronoun I in a short story, but again, just bear it in mind that it is not your story. So when you're using the pronoun I, okay, it means that this I is another character. It is not you. Okay, this I is a fictitious character. It is not a real character. It may be somebody named Tim, Tom, or Jim for all you care. It's not you. Okay, and so then Tim's friends will be very different. Tim's experiences will be very different. May borrow from you, but it is not real. Alright, so this is the essential difference between a narrative and a short story when it comes from your writing point of view for your test. Now, every story, whether it's a narrative or it's a short story, has any kind of story, has a beginning where something starts, okay, a middle where your main crucial events take place, and an end where everything kind of surmises and then it's neatly packed and the story is closed, kind of, and leaves the reader feeling satisfied, thinking the story is over. Okay, and this is what we need to do to our essay too. We need to have a neat introduction, a body, and a conclusion to our story. These are three parts that any examiner would look for neatly in your essay. Now, so I'm going to demonstrate all these parts for you with an example. And pick an example like it comes for your assignments or for your test. Okay, so relate an incident from your own life when you got over a fear of something. Okay, so you were scared of something, you got over it. Now, when I see an examination, when I see a topic as such in a paper or in a practice question or in an examination or anywhere for that matter, there are certain things that kind of jump out to me when I read the topic, and these are what I call as my keywords. I've seen several times when students see a topic, they just begin writing. They leave no space for ideation, for actually thinking over what the topic is. And this is where you need to spare 5 minutes of your time at least to ideate, to brainstorm, to really think as to what is this topic asking of me. And this is something that I do. You may not need to follow, and you can come up with strategies of your own to answer this. But this is my style which I am sharing with you. So, the keywords, alright? Sorry, the PPT doesn't have the keywords marked, but I don't have a ruler. Cut. I don't have a ruler, so I'll have to just point maybe. Okay, let me restart. Okay, so an incident is one of my key points from my own life. If you see, that means it has to be from my personal life. When I got over a fear of something, so I was scared of something and I got over the fear. These are the main key points from my topic that I have picked up. Okay, and now I will start thinking about the incident. So what do I write about? What should I start writing about? Remember, narrative essays are all about what happened, when it happened, why it happened, where it happened, how it happened, who were there. So start jotting these down. Okay, start making notes of these different points to guide you to write your essay. Alright, so this is something I do next. I jot down ideas, and a lot of authors do this step. Okay, it's called as ideation. We write down key points because our brain works faster than what we write. Okay, and so our brain is churning out ideas constantly, and we need to find a way of channelizing those ideas and noting those ideas down. So the best ideas then are manifested on the paper. Okay, and so that is what we need to do. Okay, we need to sit, let our brain work, and start noting down ideas. Okay, in the exam. Believe me, take 5 minutes in your paper. You have 30 minutes to answer an essay. Take 5 minutes, because the rest of the essay will just flow smoothly. You will not have hiccups and breaks, and you will not waste time thinking and rereading unnecessary things. It will just help fluency and continuity even better. So, this is from my own experience, and you're not allowed to laugh at it. So what was I afraid of? I am afraid of the darkness, completely petrified of it. Did I get over it? Yes, kind of, to an extent. When did this happen? Somewhere in my early 20s, when I took a break from work. Where did it happen? In Goa. Why? Because I wanted to prove to my parents that I was responsible, so I was trying to try something. I was going for, the adult life movement. How did this happen? So this is what is called as jotting down my points, where I just sit and scratch words onto a piece of paper that will help me guide my thoughts. So how did this happen? If I'm rushing with it, just pause and read it. Okay, take the time to just pause the video and read it. But I'm just going to rush through it. So the electricity went out. I was scared of the dark. I could hear sounds. My imagination ran wild. I wanted to call home. Remembered what I challenged my parents. Calmed myself. Something from Sherlock also reminded me about something. I kept reminding myself there was nothing to fear, and I searched for a candle, lit it right in the house. Electricity came back and relief. Alright, so that is what happened. Now, just because you jotted the points does not mean you need to write down exactly everything that you've written. Okay, an ideation means it's everything that my brain is spewing at that moment, but it doesn't mean that everything that I've written I will use. Okay, you will see there will be some things that I don't use from there. Alright, so I've got the how, I've got the what, I've got the when, I've got the where, I've got the how, who. No, who is not there. Anyways, what happened later? Why? Thank you. So that you know sitting behind there. The why. Alright? So, what happened later? So over the week, the electricity kept going out. I kept training myself to conquer my fear. My parents were surprised and proud. I was also proud of myself, and I got over my fear. Again, if I'm rushing with it and you want to hold and pause the video, please do so and read it at your own pace. What did I learn? That I must learn to face my fear. Okay, so this is everything that came to my mind when I thought of this topic, and I jotted it down. And this process should take you again 5 minutes to a maximum in your examinations. Now, how do I write this? Okay. Sorry, there's one bit that is getting chopped off in the PPT. but I will send this to you so you don't need to worry about it. This is the basic format of what a narrative essay looks, and yes, it looks very complicated right now, so you don't need to worry. If you want to look through it, go through it, but I'm not going to rush. We're going to do it bit by bit, okay? Now, every time when I discuss essays, I always give the example of food. I love food, okay? And when you're building your essay, you're writing for the reader, right? And you want to give your reader certain experiences. Just like a chef creates food for their customers, a person who's a food enthusiast, right? So the introduction of your essay must be like your appetizers, okay? It is enough to kind of get your palate going, your taste buds kicking in, okay? Your stomach kind of churning for more food. But it doesn't have too much that it will fill you up. Okay, so enough food, and that means enough details, if you get my analogy, okay, to kind of get the reader interested, but not too many details that will get the reader full and irritated that they don't want to proceed further. Okay, the second part of your essay is like the main course. Okay. Think of an Indian thali. It has little bit of different kinds of food, something sour, something sweet, something tangy, something spicy, okay? Different kinds of food stuff. So your essay needs to be like that, okay? A lot of different details that will get the reader interested and hooked onto your essay and will feel extremely interested in everything that is happening. Okay. Now we still don't want to fill the reader at this point. Okay, we need to keep the reader going because we have the conclusion, and the conclusion is like the dessert at the end of a good meal. Okay, it leaves you satisfied. Okay, it is not too much of sweet. It's just that much that makes you feel you've had a divine meal. Okay, and you want that experience for your reader. Okay, you want that conclusion to sum it all up. Okay, that the reader should be left licking his fingers at the end of it saying, that was fantastic to read. Okay, so keep this in mind every time you write an essay. We want our readers to love what we read, to be awake throughout and not put them to sleep or shove the paper aside somewhere wondering what was that. Okay, now, so how do we write the introduction? Okay, the introduction is, that is food coma. Okay, again, repeating what I said. Not too much. We don't want to give them a detailed coma. Okay, we don't want to put our readers, scare them off in the beginning of our writing itself. Okay, so a little bit. Just enough to tease their senses. Okay, so the part one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the introduction into 3 parts. Okay, just to show you on how it is built. And you don't need to stick to this format. Please remember this. You can choose to explore other ways of writing. But this is for someone who's just scared of essays also, or you want to try this out. Anyways. Okay. So the part one is the hook of an essay. Okay. And a hook is like, when you go fishing, you can't just drop a hook in the water and expect the fish to come swimming to it and get caught. Okay, you need to put a bait in it. You need to get your readers hooked on. Okay, so the first part of your essay, of your introduction, is the hook. Okay, but with a bait. So, what is this hook with a bait? It is a shocking statement, an interesting fact, or a statistic, a question, or a quotation. Okay, any of these 5 things. Remember, any one. Please don't do everything. Okay, any one of these that you can pick. Okay. Yeah. Thank God, the whole thing has fit somehow now. So I took the example of, say, I love chocolates. Okay. So a shocking statement would be, I can survive just by eating chocolates for life. Okay. It's an exaggeration. Okay, you're exaggerating to a point where someone will not want to believe you. Okay. The second part will be an interesting fact. Say the cocoa bean, which is native to South America, was once used by the Aztecs as currency during the height of their civilization. So fantastic, na? I would have been rich just by collecting chocolates, or the cocoa bean actually. A statistic would be, every year the worldwide consumption of chocolate is estimated to be about 7.2 million metric tons. That's a lot. Okay. A question could be, what is your guilty pleasure when it comes to food? Mine is chocolate. And a quotation, life is a box of chocolates, you never know what you are going to get, by Tom Hanks from Forrest Gump. Okay, so these are the different kinds of hooks. Again, you don't need to use all of these, you just need to pick one that you're comfortable with. And every time you write an essay, use different ways of beginning. Okay, don't stick to the same, like I'm comfortable with quotations, I'm going to stick with quotation. Try different things. Alright, again, if it's too fast for you and you want to take some time, just pause the video and read it. Alright, now it's my turn to write the hook. So this is what I wrote. Okay, courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Okay, by Nelson Mandela. Again, this is a quotation that kind of stayed with me. So I chose to begin my introduction with this quotation. Alright, next one. Okay, this is, so the first statement of your introduction is your quotation. The second part of your introduction is the background. So you need to tell them what happened, right? So, as I dive into the recesses of my memory, I can safely conclude this much. I have always been afraid of the dark. I would always keep a tiny light bulb in my room at night, or squeal in fear every time the electricity went out. Okay? So this forms the second part of my introduction. Okay? Now to proceed to the third part, which is the topic statement. That means you need to show that this is what I'm talking about. Okay? But I have always known that there would come a day when I would have to conquer this fear of the darkness, and that day eventually did come. Okay? So if you see, therefore, the introduction has 3 to 4 statements, sentences. Sentences, if you remember, end with a full stop. They're not lines, they're complete with subject, verb and everything else, okay, ending with a full stop. So at least 4 to 5 full stops that you need to have for an introduction that will conclude, like that will create your whole introduction. And the introduction is therefore made of 3 parts: your hook statement, your background information, and then what is the topic actually about. Okay, now, so that is just to summarize it for you, what the introduction looks like. Now, given that the introduction is complete, I need to proceed to the next part, which is the body of the essay. Remember, the body has all the details. Now is it where I need to tell my reader, this is what happened. Okay? So, let's come to the body of the essay. This is a question that I get asked all the time. Teacher, how many paragraphs should I write? As many as you want. Okay? There is no limit to it. You want to keep writing, go ahead. Okay? But remember, leave 2 finger space before each paragraph. For starting each paragraph, do not leave lines between paragraphs when you're writing in the examination. And see, you can write as many paragraphs as you want, but in examination you have only 30 minutes to write your essay, which means I don't want to write too much where I will lose time. Okay, so stick to around 3 to 4 paragraphs from the examination. If you're someone who does write a lot and you're used to it, then I'm sure you can go above 3 to 4. But for someone who doesn't enjoy writing, at least stick to this much. Okay? Yeah. So again, my turn, coming back to my topic. Okay, what is my situation? What happened? Okay, which is the first part of my body. Okay, so I was in my early 20s, all set to prove to my parents that I could live by myself. My parents scoffed with doubt As they knew quite well, I couldn't even sleep in my own room by myself. To make matters worse, if the lights ever went out due to a power failure, my blood-curdling screams would shatter all the glass in my street. I was petrified of the dark so much that very often I would be at the receiving end of all jokes in my family. Nevertheless, determined as I was, I set out to prove to my parents that I could not only overcome my fear, but also take on other responsibilities too. Okay, so this is one paragraph, okay, which kind of explain to the reader, this is the situation, this is my why did I choose, sorry, this is the why I chose to kind of, embark on this journey to conquer my fear or whatever it was. So that's first paragraph, which is the situation. Okay. Now I need to build the events. This is technically called as rising action. Okay, where the events are now building to that fear, okay, to what actually happened. Okay. So if I'm going too fast, again pause, read at your pace. In the summer of 2012, after a grueling work schedule, I decided to give myself a vacation, a solo trip to Goa and my family home. Obviously, as I discussed it with my parents, I could see their faces of doubt. Given that my parents have always been supportive, they backed this decision too. Though secretly they believed I would take the first flight back on my first night itself. But hey, as I said, I was determined. Okay? So this is the first paragraph of the rising action. So the second paragraph, if you see, every paragraph has an idea. The first paragraph of the body was the situation that said the why. The second paragraph gives the first event. The third paragraph will give the next event of what is happening. So I'm in Goa now. Okay. So hello Goa, it was my first night of the weekend. Unluckily the date was Friday the 13th. Yes, it did play on my mind. So when the power failure struck that night, fear gripped my panic heart as I stood in the darkness by myself. Darkness or the tricks you play with my mind. Sweat beads collected on my cool forehead, and no, it wasn't due to the heat. This was fear, striking my very soul. My feet seemed to be made of lead as I couldn't get them to move. And then came the sounds, eerie sounds from the pitch black darkness. My mind was building images of its own. Shadows played tricks on my mind, and well, demons, witches and gaunt ghosts seemed to appear before my eyes. A chill ran down my spine. Alright, so this is my fear now getting to me. Alright, this is kind of attacking me. And that's what the second paragraph is. Lights go out, I am scared. Okay, sorry, not the second, I think this is the third one. Now, my instinct was to scream, but I suppressed it. Then came the tears. I wanted to go home. I was wrong. I couldn't do this. My heart was pounding against my chest. I wanted to call home and tell my mom I had failed. No, I wouldn't. This would prove everyone right. That's when the quote from Sherlock came to me from the hollow pits of the darkness. It has always been my mind creating this fear in me. So just to tell you about the quote from Sherlock, I was watching Sherlock's Hounds of Baskerville at that time. So something what Sherlock said about fear and stimulus kind of came to me. If I was lengthening this, just for the purpose of this video, I've kept it short. But if I was writing more elaborately, I would have mentioned that I was watching BBC Sherlock at that time, and the Hounds of Baskerville was something that I was going through. And yeah, but for lack of time, I'm going to cut it short. We have already seen how the body of the narrative essay has been built so far. We began with the introduction, we've seen the events progressing, and now comes to the main event, which is what is called as the climax of the event. That means this is the height of your story. This is where everything unfolds, right? So I closed my eyes, took a deep breath and opened it again. I tried to adjust my eyes to the darkness around me as I took measured steps around the room, bumping my way into things. I reached the kitchen, I knew where it was kept. I felt around among the things, my heart still racing. The adrenaline rush was such I could collapse. There I had found it, the matchbox and the candle. Ah, the spark, the light. My joy knew no bounds. I lit candles in every room and smiled to myself. I was no longer afraid of the dark. Right? So this is the main part of the topic, which is how did I conquer that fear? Okay, which I write about in the climax of the event, which is the height of everything that has happened so far. So the body therefore had three parts, just like the introduction. It was the main situation, then the event slowly building to what actually happened and the topic. Now comes the conclusion. So I need to now conclude and I need to close the entire story off. And what do I mention in my conclusion? What do I write about? So what happened after everything took place? So I'm over my fear. What happens next? What did I learn? Narrative essays are all about my life experiences. What did I take away from that event? What did I learn from that event? What are my reflections? What are my thoughts? And how I have utilized that in my life, how my life has changed now. So these three things form your conclusion. So I'm going to show you what I have written. What happened after? My mom called a few minutes later and I proudly informed her that there was a power failure. She asked me if I was scared, if I wanted to come home, if she should call for my aunt. I explained I was fine. I could sense the surprise mixed with a hint of pride in her voice. Okay, so this is what happened after. If you see the notes that I had jotted down earlier, there are a lot of things that are very different from what I had jotted down to what I've actually written. And that is the premier example, that you don't need to follow everything to the T. Ideation is just about writing everything down. And then when you're writing it, you can choose to eliminate certain things that you don't find necessary in your essay. So the next part that follows is what did I learn? Okay, what was my experience like? And what is my takeaway from that experience? I realized that the saying stood true, where there's a will, there is a way. I learned an important lesson that day. To conquer your fear, you must face it. It's not, and then comes the last part, which is how did my life progress ever since that event and how I'm utilizing what I've learned in my life today. It's not like I don't get scared of the dark anymore. The silly thoughts do pop up sometimes. It's just now I know, the secret to defeating the darkness. Okay, with that, I have closed the entire essay. Okay, I have concluded the whole thing. And that should leave the reader, as I said, feeling satisfied. It's like when you have your dessert and you go, that was a nice meal. Okay? Key tips that you need to bear in mind when you are writing your essay, things that you need to remember. And this is what I'm sharing with you after having corrected so many different kinds of essays. What are the errors that we tend to make when we're writing narratives? Always maintain a chronology of events, and that is why I go back to that ideation process. Learn to jot it down. Learn to write your ideas down, because it's very easy to mix things up. It is very easy to forget something and then we try and insert it in the middle, or we try and restructure things which don't necessarily fit in. So write your events, write the chronology, jot it down. And then when you're writing it, the flow will just automatically fall in place. Okay, and you will learn to shuffle things. Alright, so chronology, for those who don't know the meaning of chronology, chronology is the sequence of events, the structure, the order, the way things took place. Okay, now let's go ahead. Use sufficient details. Okay, how I felt, what happened, the light going off, the sweat reads, the everything is very important. I told you I had to cut down on certain details just for the purpose of the example, but I would have written a lot more if time had permitted. So add details to your story. The reader wants to know what happened, okay, and you want to share it with the reader too. Use your emotions, your reaction to things. So the lights went off, and then I went and looked for a candle. Did you feel anything when the lights went out? I'm scared of the dark, so I must have felt something, right? Add that emotion into it. When the light came on, you must have felt like I must have felt something. It's not that the light came on and everything was well. No, I felt proud. I felt good about having conquered that fear, of not letting that fear overwhelm me and overtake my thoughts. So it's very important that you add the emotions, your reactions to things. That will help your reader connect with what you have written. It makes the story very human. Okay? It adds that human element to your story. The next part is use transitional words. We need to help build stories, like progress stories, from one part to the other. How do you move from sentence to sentence, from paragraph to paragraph without it sounding choppy? A choppy paragraph would be something like, I went to the market, I bought a dozen apples. Okay? I can use transitional words. Sorry, I went to the market, I bought a dozen apples, I couldn't find the pears. Okay, so I'm going to use a transitional word. I went to the market and bought a dozen apples, full stop. However, I couldn't find the pears. Okay, that however helps me move from one sentence to the next, from one thought to the next. So use transitional words to help the reader flow from one idea to the next without it breaking in between. Okay, I've told you I will send you a list of transitional words which you can use, and I will do that. Besides that, I'll be sending some other stuff, so wait. The next is avoid repeating sentences. When I don't have enough ideas and I haven't jotted it down, I tend to sound repetitive. Okay, I was scared, then something happened and I was scared. And I keep repeating those words, those sentences. When as a reader, then I start getting irritated because I just read that you were scared. What else can you tell me? Okay, maybe my heart was racing, maybe the adrenaline was rushing, maybe my feet were as they've turned into noodles, trembling. They were just fluid and floppy. Anyways, so add new statements into it. Don't repeat. And again, that comes to your jottings, your ideation part, where you write your ideas. Otherwise, you will lose track of your thoughts, and then you're just repeating a lot of stuff over and over again. Now, a lot of students do use dialogues in narrative essays. You don't need to. If you want to, you can go ahead. But again, narrative is very different from storytelling. So avoid it. You can use, if you want to use one or two dialogues here and there, extremely essential, but just do away with it. Narrative is just you're telling something that has already happened, okay, in the past. Write about the events in the past tense. Do not jump tenses. Don't switch tenses too often. Stick to the past tense. Something happened. This took place. We went there. We saw this. We experienced this. Okay? So it's everything that has happened in the past. Alright? And something that will add flavor to your writing is using proverbs, using idioms, like the one, if you notice, that I used. Well, there's a will, there's a way. Okay, besides that, there are other idioms, there are phrases that you can use. Start reading up on idioms and phrases that will help make the expression in your writing much better. Okay, even figurative languages, devices. I mean, 10 standards you must have learned plenty. 8th you will have also be learning, you will also be learning quite a few, and the 9th and 10th have already learned a few, so use them to accentuate your writing, use them to build on your writing, the expression within your writing. So similes, metaphors, personifications, bring them in. If you remember, if you kind of go back into what I had discussed, I said the scream would shatter, my squeal would shatter the glass in the streets. That's a hyperbole, that's an exaggeration that I'm using. So that's a figurative device. Okay? Use it to make your writing much better. Now another thing that after you've finished the bulk of your writing, something that a lot of students forget to do, and I cannot emphasize on this point more, but check and check your work. You will always find errors with your work, and there's no harm in just rereading your work and checking. Okay, so what do you check for? Check for details that you've missed out, something that you want to add. Check for grammatical errors, sentence structures, a tense gone wrong here, maybe a singular, plural verb that you should have used, a word that you have misused. Okay, so basic grammatical errors. A he instead of a she instead of a he. It's small, but it does make a big difference. Spelling mistakes, there are plentiful that you will find, especially when you're writing in haste. And not that because we only have bad spellings, but we're writing quite quickly, so we tend to make these errors. Punctuation marks, a comma, like even when I was reading out to you, there were so many punctuations that I could have changed, I could have added, that even I can see right now while I'm reading my work out to you. So you can always, there's always scope for improvement. And adding final touches. You are an artist, you're building a written work, so you can always add something here and there that will, it's like the, Sir Evlino just gave me an idea, it's like the garnish that you put over your dish. Okay, that slight sprinkle of coriander or the quenelle that you make with your ice cream. Just small garnish, chocolate shavings that you have over a dessert. Okay, just voila. Alright, that's it for narrative essay. I hope it's helpful to you and it helps in understanding how do you actually compose and write a narrative essay. It's one of the easier forms as compared to the rest. Not that the rest are difficult, they are easy too. But a lot of people prefer a narrative essay. I will be sending some work for you to guide you and to help you write some of the essays or to write at least a sample essay. And if you don't understand, you know where to find us. And we know you're still stuck in the house. Anyways, adios. Thank you. I will see you soon.